On September 11 and 12, 2021, the annual Vintage Computer Fest Midwest, or VCFMW for short, took place in Elmhurst, Illinois. This is in the Chicago area to give you an idea on the location if you aren't familiar with the area. A 2-day event crammed with loads and loads of retro computers. Lots and lots of retro computers. Seriously, so many retro computers. There were many opportunities to speak one-on-one with the exhibitors, as well as panels covering multiple topics. All in all, a terrific time, and I may yet do a longer video covering the event further, but there are lots of great videos for anyone that wants a deeper dive on what went down. I'll link a couple in the description just to name a few. Of course, however, being the retro addict that I am, there were many things for sale, and I couldn't walk away from something like this empty-handed. I did fly to the event, so my opportunity to bring back things was limited, but here's what I managed to grab in my 2 days at the event. Alright, we're back home from VCF Midwest, and this will be kind of a talking hands video here. It's kind of nature of the beast here, because you're looking at the stuff, not me, right? You're here for the loot, so we'll just hop right into it and start with some of the stuff I picked up, because there was a lot of good stuff for sale at pretty good prices. So we'll start with I think this is an HIS 3650, and it's kind of an XP era video card. And what's interesting about it is it's AGP, so this will be a pretty powerful AGP card for a machine of that caliber, right? Work very well. So I will say, all this stuff was sold as is. It's all untested. I don't know the status on it. Some of the stuff might be not working. Who knows? But it was so cheap, I kind of had to save it. They said that a lot of the stuff would have to be recycled. So one worth saving for sure. So we start with a Radeon 3650 AGP. That could be a handy card for an XP machine. And keeping with that XP, we have a Sound Blaster. This is the SB... Let's see... SB0460, which I think is the XFI, like extreme sound card. Also a XP era machine, or a sound card probably. It's PCI. Very dirty. All these have to be cleaned. But it might go very well with that particular video card over there too, and an XP machine, kind of an overpowered XP machine even. I haven't tested this card or even used one of these at all, so it should be interesting to check that out. Sorry, we're doing stacking. We're stacking, sorry. We have, then on the video card front again, we have two TNT video cards. Let's see, one is an STB, I believe, and this one is a Diamond Viper V550. They're both AGP 16 megabyte Riva TNT cards. And I don't know if I need two per se, but they were so cheap I couldn't not get them. They might come in handy. Nice to have, if nothing else, for like testing and things like that. So, but I can't remember. I think I had a TNT card. That's weird. I can't remember exactly. But then let's go to a sound card that I'm quite happy to found. This is a Montego 2, or Turtle Beach Montego 2 N270. So this is an Oriole Vortex 2 sound card. This is a great sound card for Windows 98. It's got that special Oriole sound effects and everything. I have this card already in the Dell T450. And in that machine, it's a great sound card. It works really well. So this will come very much in handy for any other Windows 98 build I'm going to do. Alright, let's go back to this, which is a ATI Exclaim 3D Pro. I believe this is a Mac model based on the output pins here, because these are both VGA. One is just kind of like a broader or wider DB15 versus the normal VGA one. So I think this might be a Mac one. I don't necessarily have a use for it, but they were basically giving it away dirt cheap, so I just had to pick one up. I was curious to have. Of course, it supports a memory expansion. The Mac G3 I have has a more powerful video card, so we'll see if we use it. Neat one to have. Cheap. I want to save all the things, but I can't save all the things, so I saved some of the things. Next, we have another Montego sound card. This one is also PCI. I think this is the DDL. I wrote some notes here. I tried to keep some notes on what these things are. And this particular one has Dolby Digital Live 7.1. So it's a 7.1 sound card. I'm guessing, late Windows 98 and Windows XP has optical in and out, which is pretty cool. So we'll check this card out. Who knows? Might be a nice one. I don't really know anything about it, but we'll try it out. Then we get to some interesting video cards, and this is Radeon, the Radeon video card. So yeah, this is R6 AGP. The actual one is R6 DDRF SD 64 megabytes. So this is some variety of the original Radeon card. Maybe not the best card for the era, but certainly one of the very most interesting ones. Again, I don't know if this works. The caps have taken a beating here. These cards were all just mixed in a big box, so I'm not sure on the condition of them. But still, if this works, or if I have to recap it, we'll see. I haven't really tried it, but if I have nothing to lose if the card doesn't work, or maybe it works, who knows. But still, it's a very interesting card from Radeon, the first Radeon card, so that's really cool to have. Then we get into some interesting sound cards as well. This is a Sound Blaster 16 Vibra card. The Vibra was kind of a cut down version of the Sound Blaster 16. So yeah, probably not the best 16 version you can get, but still a handy card to have. This is what you probably saw in a lot of OEMs or pack-ins or whatever. It was cheaper to manufacture, probably less components on it. So basically considered a Sound Blaster 16 value in that sense. I have it in one machine actually already, and it works just fine. It just doesn't sound awesome, but it's sound, so this might work really well on some old DOS machine or something that doesn't have a sound card in the first place. CT4170 is the model number. But yeah, Sound Blaster 16. And now we get to what I probably consider the thing that I'm the most happy with. This is a Riva TNT2 Ultra. I've wanted a TNT2 for quite a while, and getting an Ultra like this for basically dirt cheap, if it works, fingers crossed, it's an awesome one. Definitely needs to be cleaned up and everything, but this would make an awesome addition to any Windows 98 machine. And I think this is probably a kind of Voodoo 3 performance level, thereabouts, so it gives you an idea. But an awesome card to have, and I think I had a TNT2. That's what I can't remember if I had a TNT1 or a TNT2, but either way, awesome card to have. Excited for this one. Definitely glad I saved that. Next we have probably one of my favorite sound cards, and it is incredibly dirty. This is like caked on, so this has to be cleaned properly. I'm getting just very dirty just handling these. This is a Sound Blaster AW64 model 4520. So Sound Blaster AW64 may be one of the most compatible sound cards. Is it going to be the best sound? Probably not. It emulates OPL with its own ESS audio chip, I think. Someone correct me. But it's so compatible. DOS games, no sweat. Windows 95, Windows 98, great. I mean, it's just such a compatible sound card. This is a great one to have because it will run almost everything. So I bought a Sound Blaster AW64 when it was new, and I still have it. It actually is right now in service in my AST computer. So it's awesome to have. This is a super compatible card to throw into just about anything. So the last video card is a Mac Edition Radeon 9000. The reason I grabbed this is that I have a Apple G4 that is 400 megahertz that has that Rage 120 Pro we streamed from at one time during GPU June. Shout out. And this card, I believe, will just make a slot-in upgrade. That should give it quite a performance boost. So I'm excited to try that. Again, if the card works, I don't know. But still, it's a fully supported one, and it has the Mac proprietary connector here, plus then a DVI, so you can just use a converter for VGA out. But that should just be provided as a nice slot-in upgrade that should give it quite a boost. So we'll try that out. Stacking video cards don't look... Alright, let's go to some motherboards. And the first one I have, very heavy guys, is a Slot 1 motherboard. This one has a P2 266 MHz processor in it, but the cool thing is this is a 440BX Intel chipset motherboard. If you have worked on any of these Slot 1 boards, you know that the 440BX chipset is one of the most broadest range compatible chipsets. You can, I'm not sure on this particular model, but this is an Asus P2B revision 1.02. Some of these will go all the way from entry-level P2 all the way up to 1 gigahertz plus P3, and this is basically the same motherboard I have in my P3 700. That gives you an idea roughly how wide of a range you have. Couple that with ISA, PCI, and AGP slots. If you're going to have one retro machine from the DOS 95, 98 era, base it on this type of motherboard, because then you get the broadest range of compatibility. That other motherboard in the P3700 has worked flawlessly the whole time, so excited to check this one out as well. May build something with this one. I'd like a fast P2, and we'll get to that in a second, but the pins got bent the way I transported some of these. I should be able to bend those back. That was just stupid the way I transported them. I won't go into details, but I got them home anyway with just a minor damages. Next year at VCF Midwest, I will probably drive so I can buy even more stuff. I need to buy it all. It was hard to just stop myself. So speaking of this motherboard then, with that slot 1, we actually have a slot 1 P2 400 MHz processor, and that should provide quite the nice little upgrade to that motherboard. Might make a very nice like late P2 build. I'm intrigued because I don't have any P2 builds active right now. And when the processor showed up in the box too, I'm going to grab that and see if I can upgrade that later there as well. But another one that was also cool was a slot A motherboard. They had a lot of these just sitting around. I didn't buy all of them because I don't need all of them, but it was hard to give them up. So this will be then AMD's answer to the slot 1 motherboard or the slot 1 in general from Intel. Slot A for AMD. Nice job naming that, guys. This is a 700 MHz processor, and I have not really messed with AMD from this era at all, so I'm intrigued and curious. It uses an AMD chipset. Again, you have the ISA, PCI, and HFP slot, so it would also make a phenomenal Windows 98 gaming machine. Especially the 700 here. I mean, that TNT 2 Ultra would probably slot into this one perfectly. That's exactly the same era, so, I mean, you put that TNT 2 in there, that Montego sound card, and the Auto V64 for DOS gaming, and you have extremely broad compatibility. So maybe we'll do just that. We'll see. I'll try and move this back here. Very heavy. Next, something that's maybe not quite as exciting, but very heavy, is a very grody keyboard. Sorry about it being super dirty, but it was just a few bucks. So this is not mechanical. It's just a membrane standard keyboard, but I actually have this very keyboard with an AT connector. I use a dongle. If you've seen any of my other videos, you've recognized this keyboard. It's not this one that I use for shooting, but I would like to stream with this one and use the other one for shooting and set up here on this desk here. So this was just a few bucks. I grabbed that for sure. Definitely needs to be cleaned up, but I like these keyboards, the NMB ones. I like the design, and it's super heavy. It is a very heavy metal backplate. First time I picked up the other one that I have, I thought it was mechanical. Sadly not, but it feels really good to use and type on. I'm a fan. So this is NMB, let's see what the model is. NMB RT6856TW, if anyone cares, but NMB keyboards. I like them. They're nice. Put that one over here. Actually, we'll put that one here because we have more stuff coming here now. And we have one more motherboard, and this one is newer. And what happened was that they were basically giving this away because it has a problem. This is an Asus A8N SLI. It's hard to say. Premium motherboard, which is arguably one of the better socket 939 motherboards, which this is. And this is, of course, newer then, right? The problem with it, the guy that basically gave it to me said, is that the caps are horrendously blown on this guy. There's not supposed to be brown stuff coming out of your caps. Let's just say that. So this board needs basically a full recap, but look at that board. It's gorgeous. So if I can bring this back to life, and also we have an Athlon 64, looks like a 4200 X2 processor on there. This will make a fantastic, like really solid, strong Windows XP machine build with SLI and everything. So hoping I can save it. All the big caps look like they're not in horrible spots. So again, I haven't really recapped anything, so I'm going to work my way up to this board, hopefully getting to this at some point. But I hate for it to just, go to waste. So it comes with all the accessories that normally would come with the board as well in the box. So it even smells new. So it's a nice one. I'll see if I can save it. I'm hoping to, but no promises yet. Alright, we have one more thing here from a card perspective, and that is a Intel in-box still ISA network card. The reason I wanted this is that my Tandy doesn't have a network card in right now, and I don't have any ISA cards, so this was pretty awesome. I don't think there's anything special about the card itself, but it is basically, in box, unused. Excuse me, so you have the BNC and the RJ45 connector. This is, of course, a 10 megabit card. I mean, it's old, really old, but This will slot perfectly into my Tandy. Hopefully I can make it network, because I really like having all my computers networked for copying files and everything. So that is a neat one to have, especially the box too. Hey. Alright, and next we have something interesting. It is a PC Gamepad 6. Looks like a pretty generic Windows 95 gamepad, but I don't really have one. And what struck me is that I checked it out while I was there. You know, it's a cool box and everything, of course, for a few bucks. The feel of the gamepad is actually, it comes with a driver disc and everything. The feel of the gamepad, it actually feels pretty nice. Like, it's almost a little clicky. I'm sure it's just very cheap components. And it's very plasticky, don't get me wrong. But it actually feels pretty nice. So, and it's, you know, basically new in box. Very sturdy, like, directional controls here. And the buttons sort of sound very hollow and plasticky, but you know what? I'll try it out. Maybe we can play that Sonic CD. We tried on the demo disc the other day streaming, if you watched that. And that might run a little better, or play it a little better than just with the keyboard. So, still, neat one to have there. Alright, we're done with all the hardware, so we're getting into the big box stuff right now. So I got some of that too. It's kind of cramped on the table here now. And here we have Encarta 94 in box. I had Encarta 95, came bundled with my ASD computer, my Pentium 1. And when I saw this, like, oh, I gotta have that, that's really cool. And it took a little bit of damage in my poor shipping there, or the way I got them home, unfortunately. So, but it is what it is. But I love these early multimedia softwares, right? With the, it's the multimedia experience. It's awesome. A whole bunch of manuals and everything. Really cool one to have, and looking forward to exploring them. Maybe we'll go through this on a stream someday. Who knows? Awesome. Encarta. It's cool. Next we have something, I'm a big fan of Civilization, but I have not played Call to Power 1 or Call to Power 2. So I saw this complete in box, and this one's actually sealed still. I just had to pick that up as well. Awesome to have. I'm a big fan of Civilization. So I feel I should probably stream the Civilization Call to Power at some point, but I'm not sure if I'll open this. Maybe I'll buy it separately, but still, it's a cool box to have. I'm a big fan of Civ, of course. Next we have, it's getting really cramped here now. Next we have Lands of Lore, Guardians of Destiny. This is a Westwood RPG. Westwood, of course, of Command & Conquer fame, did make some RPGs as well. So I'll have to stream that. I think I remember seeing, like, the, was it singer from Depeche Mode is the protagonist in this game, and it's kind of what it looks like almost. See it there? But, awesome one to have. I really like, you know, this is a very sturdy game box from this era, so had to grab that. Next we have Castles. It's still sealed in shrink wrap. So Castles is a really old DOS game at this point now. So we're talking IBM Tandy, IBM/Tandy, DOS 2.1 and forward. So it supports CGA, Tandy, EGA, and 256 colors, and MCGA, MVGA. So I had a friend who recommended me that he played Castle, so he's like, oh, you should get that one. And I've been looking at me to pick it up at some point, and then this came across it here for a few bucks. I'm like, yeah, awesome. Still sealed. I'm not sure if I'll break the seal or not. We'll see. There's other ways to actually enjoy and play the game. The last thing, let me check again here. There's a lot of stuff. I think it's the last thing. Was a signed copy of Attack of the Petsky Robots from 8-Bit Guy or Dave Murray. Again, you're probably familiar with him as 8-Bit Guy. He was at this convention as well, and he was selling his games, so I figured I'll have to buy it when he's there. This one also took a little beating in the shipping, unfortunately. I learned from my mistakes. Next time I'll drive or bring a bigger suitcase. It just happened. So, but this is a game he made for the PET, above all. But I don't have one, but I have a C64, and this version is supported on the C64. So I'll use it there. It also comes with a dongle to be able to use a SNES controller for your Commodore computers. So it's an awesome addition there as well. But that is the last one of this mega haul. I could have bought so much more stuff, but I restrained myself. I promise, I restrained myself.
And there you have it. A stash I'm happy to have and look for when these parts show up in projects or builds down the line. My first time to VCF Midwest proved to be a great time, and my thanks go out to the organizers and volunteers of the event. I made many new friends, got to see many cool things, and chat with lots of interesting people. Expect me back next year, and who knows what I'll end up buying then. An extra special thanks to Free Geek Chicago that was responsible for most of what you saw in this video that I bought. Thanks for watching this extra bit, and until next time.